I'm intrigued by something you said a few minutes ago about...
Only one thing?
Yeah. About filmmakers maybe needing to have a day job, and that film becomes maybe their avocation that they do on the weekend. I wonder if you have any examples of filmmakers that were making a good living, 10 years ago, that are now doing something else, teaching, making films on the side.
I think that we're in a period of transition, so that those examples exist,
yeah.
But I wouldn't, either celebrate or damn those that have made that choice,
mm-hmm.
because it may come back around. I know that filmmakers that were once well celebrated at Sundance, Alice Sanders, John Jost, Harold Hartley, are making movies at much lower budgeted numbers so that they can crowdfund those films and find other ways to support themselves in the process. Whereas other filmmakers have either contemplated or have either embraced television production, more mainstream subject matter, things along those levels. There's a lot of changes that are at foot right now. Some of it's shaking things out. Some of it will change again 180 degrees.
I wonder if you're aware of the project that Philip Haas did here at the Kimball Art Museum. The installation. Do you know Philip?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess he was having a hard time finding financing for film, and he put some analytical thought into it, and thought, who might have money to make movies? And he thought of museums, and he wrote an email to the head of the museum here and pitched him an idea about making movies about his paintings, and it happened, and they're incredible works of art.
Yeah, and Philip has always made movies that deal with the art world, historically speaking. I also know of another filmmaker, Marco Brambilla, who has the notoriety of being the youngest filmmaker to ever have the highest budget for his first feature. It was a movie that I think he would call terrible, with Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone, called Demolition Man. He had a mixed success in Hollywood after that, but he always had a big interest in the art world, and he's reinvented himself as a video artist. Receives very high commissions for the work that he does, and he spoke to me. I try to see him, periodically, and we were sitting down, and he just said, "I just don't understand why anyone would go through the Hollywood process to make a movie when right now I'm getting $1 million carte blanche to do a work of any length, whatever I choose, from a major brand, with basically just like, he said the last thing was, it's a Jeffrey Bean bag. I need to have a Jeffrey Bean bag in it. But what they want my work to do is go to the Biennale, to be an art product along the way. And these are the patrons of ambition now, far more than the suits in Hollywood, that they give me free rein. And I don't have to debate about what I'm doing. And I can even explore in the process of what it is. He's a very smart and kind of visionary, understands film in a very unique way. But I think we're seeing that. You see in other cultures, China in particular, where their artists are all multiple disciplinarian artists, generally speaking, partially because of the time and the environment, culture they came up in. And I think we'll start to see that more with filmmakers, that if I was running a film school, I would make it a requirement that people work in all disciplines and understand the business of those disciplines as well as the art of those disciplines, and look at themselves as creative individuals more than just specific creators in a discipline.
I think we have time for maybe one more. It was over here. If you can do it briefly, then we can get to another. Sure. Maybe one more.
If I can answer briefly.
Well,
good question. My name is Steph, and I have a film coming tomorrow called My Last Day Without You. And my question, I just came from AFM, and in the the last couple of years have been posted in the Bloom Council and said, I'd take money from anyone, someone bin Laden a couple years ago, right? Anyway, this year it seems much more optimistic, and partly at some of these meetings with production companies that have overhead deals with the studios, they're like, oh, meet the new division head, we do films under $5 million. And I wonder if you see this, there are the $30 to $50 million movies that they were trying to set up now seem like they're skewing much lower, and I wonder if it's just idle talk or whether you actually see these, I guess, companies with overhead deals moving into this space, which has for the past 10 years been kind of
centric. You do see different corporate initiatives like Paramount's Surge and Lionsgate, and even Focus has things where they're trying to do movies for less and less money. Making independent film has always been a bit of a criminal activity. You have to be willing. I was going to quote Mao. I guess you have to be willing to break a few eggs to make an omelet at times. And it's one thing when it's in the service of noble enterprises, including self-expression and art. You can say, I know that we're not really paying a living wage, but it's the person's choice to work on this in exchange for education. When you're doing it as the kind of, we're all in this together and we will all benefit from the success. When you're doing it under a corporate endeavor, frankly, I don't understand why there isn't widespread revolt when publicly traded large companies are asking people to work under those circumstances, even if it's good business and allows for good work. There's a real difference, I think, when individuals get together to create something, and I think it's why American film culture is so diverse and so vibrant, as opposed to the subsidized cultures that do it under government funding. But doing it on your own is one thing versus doing it under those that domain. On the other hand, as a creative person, at times you just want to get your movie made any which way. I'd forgotten about Todd's quote, and I'm surprised that no one has pointed out that this new movie that we did together doesn't list any financiers, that they didn't take credit in line with that. Not that I'm saying that we took money from terrorist organizations to make our money, but makes me nervous thinking about that quote. I don't know if I answered the question, but
we're really just about out of time, but we can do maybe one.
Mine's not even a question, but just to add to community, I went to the thing yesterday, and you talked about your blog, so I went on your blog. I got turned on to this amazing 20-minute movie, Helicopter.
Yeah,
and
Harry Gold's film.
An incredible article about projection mapping that I never would have seen. And so I think it's really...
That's the old blog you went to. You went to hopefulfilm.com, right?
I guess I did.
Yeah, because it's also on. I wrote you back on Facebook, and
I did it. Yeah.
And the IndieWire stuff has more of the business on it, but all those things. I think that so much about producing and being a filmmaker means also expressing your appreciation of other people's work. It's part of the job description, and we're so insular, as a culture that we don't go out publicly in support of what we love. Or if we do, we often do it for self-interest, Whereas I just think it's like, we got to get this work seen. I'm amazed. There's another short that was up there called Frank's Film, which is an Academy Award-winning film from the '60s, and one of the best shorts I'd ever seen. And the fact that I'd lived for almost 50 years without seeing it, and only found it through reference of somebody else, just tells me the wealth of material that is out there that still goes unnoticed, that I like to think we've sussed out all of the great novels and poets and artists and musicians of the centuries, but I tell you, we haven't done it with the filmmakers, I was so excited when I saw Wanda from 1967 by, what's the filmmaker's name?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we can't even remember. You know, that's an incredibly great example of an independent film that I didn't find until, you know, a year or two ago. And, you know, just all of this work that because of our, you know, both present day tastes, you know, and just the structures that bring work to the forefront. Karen Loden, I think, right? You know, stuff that wasn't discovered or talked about, and it is like that today. You know, like Vanessa and I were talking over breakfast, like how vibrant the new American cinema is. You know, like a movie like Daddy Longlegs, you know, which will be celebrated for decades, and afterwards still barely makes a blip. You know, and just the artistry that was involved, you know, in it. And we were talking over breakfast. I'm very excited by this film, Starlet, a new film by Sean Baker that I got to watch yesterday morning. And you know, it's not yet finished, but here's a director that's made 2 good movies beforehand that nobody has seen. He hasn't been in Sundance. You know, he's trying to get his movie ready, you know, in time. Probably won't be ready in time for it. And you know, how does someone like that actually get attraction? You know, it's like, yeah, I'm pushing for him and helping him, and that's more than a lot of people get. But it's still so easy to fall through the cracks. You know, it's like, how did Mark and Marcy May happen? Antonio Campos, the producer of that film, made a great first feature that went to Cannes and went to New York Film Festival, and yet nobody cared about it, talked about it, or saw it for the longest period of time.
After school.
You know, and barely got distribution, you know, along the way. And when you think about that how there are great works that haven't been seen, haven't been appreciated, and other great works that come out of it that do great business for a lot of people, you know, if we don't get behind it and really say, I care about this movie, and we, like, if you're a filmmaker, I think you should say, I want to bring some of these films that don't get seen to my hometown, even if it's only for one night only. I'm going to fill the audience with my friends. You know, we'll put $200 in the filmmaker's pocket, you know, and publicize it, you know, out the wazoo, you know, to just get this work seen. Because I know that when I make my film 2 years from now, I need somebody in, you know, Ithaca, New York, and somebody in Astoria, Oregon, to do the exact same thing for me. And we can do that now. We can get that work seen. So I'll always put up a great short by somebody I admire, whether I know them or not. And I just need your help in discovering them. Barbara Loeb. Right. There you go.
Well, on that note, we're getting the signal that we've run out of time, but I really want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank Ted